What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for MLB Sunday, May 30th.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon.
so you don't miss our new videos.
In this video, I'm going to go over my top DFS picks for today's MLB slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, we have a 9-game slate today. So let's take a look at the pitcher position. So if you want to pay up, you got a couple of studs that are in pretty good spots here tonight. You got Max Scherzer and Brandon Woodruff. Both of those guys are good picks. But if you want to save some salary, because there's a lot of batters that are in good spots, there's also a lot of value plays. So you could go either way with your lineup here. But I like Sandy Alcantara with a 13% batting advantage over the Boston Red Sox. Sandy Alcantara, he's only giving up a .536 OPS versus righties, and he's facing 6 righties here tonight. So he's got excellent splits, and on top of that, the Red Sox have only hit 5 of his last 28 pitches. That's a 179 batting average. He's $8,500 FanDuel salary, and he's $2,000 more on DraftKings. So I love that FanDuel price. He's projected at 29 fantasy points, and he has an ERA of 3.46. His record is only 1-4 on the season, pitching an average of 90 pitches per game, but he's averaging 32 fantasy points per game, and he scored 34, 55, and -11 fantasy points in the last 3 games. And I like this pick also because Vegas thinks this is going to be a low-scoring game. Only 7.5 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under. I just really like the splits here. So I like Sandy Alcantara here versus the Boston Red Sox. Okay, let's take a look at the catcher first base position. I like Salvador Perez. Oh, this is a value play. I like Salvador Perez batting against a low salary pitcher, Matt Shoemaker. Salvador Perez, he's batting 16% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .928 OPS versus righties. And Matt Shoemaker does pitch his best ball versus righty batters, but he's still giving up a .723 OPS versus righties. And I like this pick because Salvador Perez is 10 for 17, batting a .588 batting average and a 1.706 OPS versus Shoemaker. And that's a pretty big sample size. And he's only $2,400 FanDuel salary. He is $2,400 more on DraftKings. So I love that FanDuel price. And he's projected at 10.8 fantasy points here tonight, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season, scored 22, 13, and 3 fantasy points in the last 3 games. And I also like this pick because Vegas thinks there's going to be a lot of runs scored in this game. 9.5 runs is their over-under. So I like Salvador Perez here versus Matt Shoemaker.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $100 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won, and then we'll send you $100 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Now guys, just as a quick note, we just released a free DFS contest on Draft Dashboard for MLB and NBA for DraftKings and FanDuel. There's over $500 available in the prize pool, and this is a totally free contest you can enter as a Draft Dashboard member. So make sure to click the link in the description of this video, give Draft Dashboard a try, and you can start playing in our free DFS contest and compete to win some money. Okay, let's take a look at the second base position. Who do we have here? We got a value play for you. I like Adam Frazier with a 30% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Kyle Freeland. Adam Frazier, he bats a little bit better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .779 OPS versus lefties. And Kyle Freeland, he throws 27% worse to lefties as he does righties, giving up a .824 OPS versus lefties. Adam Frazier is 1 for 3, so that's a .333 batting average and a .666 OPS versus Freeland. I like this pick because he's only $2,600 FanDuel salary and $1,500 more on DraftKings, projected at 10.1 fantasy points, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 13 and 6 fantasy points in the last 2 games. So I like Adam Frazier here versus Kyle Freeland. Okay, let's take a look at the third base position. I like Joey Wendell with a 52% batting advantage over Zach Eflin. Joey Wendell is batting 31% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .891 OPS versus righties. And Zach Eflin, he pitches his worst ball versus lefty batters, giving up a .845 OPS versus lefties. There's no at-bats versus Eflin yet, and he's $3,100 FanDuel salary and $1,900 more on DraftKings. Projected at 12.5 fantasy points, he's averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 3, 13, and 3 fantasy points in his last 3 games. So I like Joey Wendell here versus Zach Eflin. Okay, let's take a look at the shortstop position. I got a couple of shortstops for you here. This is the position I want to pay up for. I like Fernando Tatis Jr. with a 55% batting advantage over Zach Greinke. Fernando Tatis Jr., he's batting 26% better versus righty pitchers, batting a 1.066 OPS versus righties. And Zach Greinke, he throws his worst ball versus righty batters, 29% worse than his other pitches, giving up a .820 OPS versus righties. And I like this pick because Tatis Jr. is 3 for 8, batting a .375 batting average and a 1.194 OPS versus Greinke. And he's $4,500 FanDuel salary. He's $1,300 more on DraftKings, projected at 12.2 fantasy points, averaging 18 fantasy points per game on the season. And look at this. He scored 35, 31, and 28 fantasy points in his last 3 games. So I like Fernando Tatis Jr. here versus Zach Greinke. Okay, another shortstop that I like is Tim Anderson with a 32% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Keegan Akin. Tim Anderson bats 29% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a 1.044 OPS versus lefties. And Keegan Akin, he pitches just a little bit worse to righties as he does lefties, giving up a .721 OPS versus righties. There's no at-bats versus Akin yet, and Tim Anderson is $3,700 FanDuel salary. He's $1,800 more on DraftKings, projected at 10.9 fantasy points, averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 21, 3, and 13 fantasy points in the last 3 games. So I like Tim Anderson here versus Keegan Akin.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, moving on to the outfield position. I like Bryan Reynolds with a 58% batting advantage over that low salary pitcher, Kyle Freeland. Bryan Reynolds bats 19% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a .862 OPS versus lefties, and Kyle Freeland throws his worst ball by far to switch hitters, 39% worse than his other pitches, giving up a 1.176 OPS versus switch hitters. Bryan Reynolds is $2,900 FanDuel salary, only $900 more on DraftKings, projected at 10.5 fantasy points, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 25, 25, and 3 fantasy points in the last 3 games. So I like Bryan Reynolds here versus Kyle Freeland. And if you're looking for a stud at the outfield position, take a look at Aaron Judge with a 47% batting advantage over a low salary pitcher, Tarik Skubal. Aaron Judge bats 20% better versus lefty pitchers, batting a 1.067 OPS versus lefties, and Tarik Skubal, he pitches 27% worse to righties as he does lefties, giving up a .853 OPS versus righties. And Aaron Judge is 1 for 2, batting .500 with a 2.5 OPS versus Skubal. That one hit was for a home run, and his salary is pretty reasonable on FanDuel, only $3,600 FanDuel salary. He's $2,200 more on DraftKings, projected at 11.7 fantasy points, averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 0 and 12 fantasy points in the last 2 games. So I like Aaron Judge here versus Tarik Skubal.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.